Alrighty, we are back with the Bozo Buzz, episode 14. Here comes my sidekick, Zachary, who's not feeling the YouTuber today. Oh, he's gonna play around now, popping up behind me. So a couple things I want to go over. First of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. I am not feeling this podcast. No throwing stuff, Zach. I am not feeling this podcast. I don't know why. I told Melissa, I was like, like I'm not, I don't know. I'm not, I don't know. All right, Zach. So I don't think I'm going to be doing a full blown out one. I don't know. It's just, you get in these moods where like, I almost didn't want to do the podcast today because I was just like I was kind of like over it. Zach, all right, stop. Babes, please come get Zach.
You're not playing with me.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to. I'm recording, so stop. So I'm just like I'm not feeling it. Like, so apologies in advance. Usually the ones you're not feeling, you actually end up having a good time with because there's nothing to prove. But I told Melissa, I was like, should I not even do one today if I'm not feeling it? And Melissa was like, well, Sam, like it doesn't have to be like a full 30 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. Let's just go over the hardcore facts of what's going on and just touch base, big brother, and we'll come back again swinging hard next week. So that's what we're going to talk about now. So let's go right into it with Big Brother. First of all, did you guys see, I posted the link on my Instagram. Remember when I won the free trip to Fiji on Big Brother? And, you know, they showed you how beautiful the resort is, this and that. It was all great. There's a couple behind the scenes facts about that trip to Fiji. So I am very appreciative of Fiji and that we got to go there and everything was fun. It was a good time. I was very appreciative of that. But it was not what it was drummed up to be, which I found kind of funny. Like, the pictures of the Pearl Resort were like mind-blowing, wow! But when you were there at the Pearl Resort, you were like, whoa, this is not what I thought. So there's little things like that. So me and Melissa, when we were there, we had plenty of time. And because like our phones didn't work and all this stuff, so we were just like hanging out. So we started making videos about everything that was at the resort. Whether like this is broken, the volleyball net's broken, the chairs are broken, and I started making a little spoof video out of it. It's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's on this channel. I gotta caption it differently because it's named under there. Remember the trip I won to Fiji? It's like something like that. So look it up if you're curious, because there was a lot of stuff. Like even at the point where they said it was all-inclusive, it was an all-inclusive resort for the winter, including all your airfare. And then I found out airfare wasn't included. The airfare was included from Cali to Fiji, not from Pennsylvania to Cali where I lived. So I had to call CBS like a spoiled brat and be like, hey, you guys said it was free airfare and it's not free airfare. I have to fly myself to Cali, that's expensive. And they ended up comping me back on the flight tickets for Pennsylvania to Cali, and then it took over. So like little things like that, we made it work, it was a good time. So I'm still appreciative of the fact that I won that trip, but there was just a lot of things that didn't line up to what it was supposed to be. So even to the point, like the Pearl Resort, it's in like this real poverty-stricken area on the island, where if you look it up right now, in American dollars, it's only 60 bucks a night for a room. That's how cheap this resort is. So, and I see other influencers, they must deal with influencers because the people who I follow, also they'll be on vacation and I'll see that they're at the Pearl Resort. So it must be the cheapest one on the island, or they work with CBS or something, I don't know, but it works out. So I like it. It was a good time, but you just gotta watch the video. I just show you like everything going on. But it was very poor, the area we were in. Me and Melissa left the resort at one point and crossed the street to go to like this little like gas station, and we like feared for our lives. Like we crossed the street, you know, you're not supposed to leave a resort. And me and Melissa were like, yeah, we're fine because we're drinking. It was like 11:30 in the morning. So we crossed the street and there was like guys in there with like machetes on their belts and stuff, and we go walking in. And it's the wildest thing because Fiji they must not have trademark issues with getting product. Because if you were to buy a bag of Doritos, the bag of Doritos was about 8 inches big, and everything on the packaging was correct. It was a real Doritos packaging. But the Doritos were about this big, a little triangle, about 1 inch big inside. It was like you took everything that was in America and you shrunk it. And I know for a second, Frito-Lay I don't think is making stuff that big. It would be normal. So I think there's a trademark issue, and somehow Fiji probably prints their own stuff off, and it didn't taste like Doritos. It was wild. It was a good experience. So I made the video, check it on YouTube. It's a good time. So let's go right into Big Brother. First of all, let's talk about this backyard. So the game was split with what? Brochella and Direfest. And I actually felt bad for Terrence because when he became the HOH for the Direfest, right? Because Brochella's inside, Direfest is outside, I think. When he became the HOH for Direfest, like you tell, he was super excited. Like, yeah, all right, HOH, do this. But like, it was like being at HOH in the have-not room. I almost felt bad for him. That sucks. To the point with the bathrooms, there's no privacy. And I couldn't imagine, like, all right, so when you're locked in the Big Brother house, you're locked in there, but there's other rooms to go to, and there's a lot more people to engage and talk to, so it makes the time pass a little quicker. But being out in the yard, you just have 4 walls. That's gotta be horrible. You're surrounded by 4 walls. You can't really talk game because people are around you constantly. I feel like Kyle was able to have a lot of alone time because if he was with Alyssa in a showmance, no one's bothering him. No one's like, oh, is he talking game with Alyssa? Well, you don't care because he's in a showmance. So like stuff like that. And he could have used Alyssa a little better, like to relay messages to other people so that he wouldn't look like he was making game moves. I don't know, just a quick thought I had. So that had to be rough. That had to be rough. And it's weird too, because since you're in California, it really doesn't rain in Cali. So there's never really rain in the backyard. Let alone when you're in the house, you don't really have the backyard anyways. Like you have the backyard twice a week, I wanna say. And you love going outside at that point because you miss the sky, you miss the sun, you miss the moon. You know, you miss the little LAPD chopper that comes out every night around 5 o'clock and circles around the top of the house and then flies away. Like LAPD has to come and check on the Big Brother house. It's like one of their things they do at night to make sure we're all okay. That's kind of cool. But I don't know, being out in that yard though, I felt bad for them. I would have hated that, especially they're all, I think was there morning dew? Maybe, or is this too dry? And I don't remember dew. So I guess like just sleeping outside. Then they had the wall yeller. Did you guys hear about that? I don't know all the facts on that, but there was definitely a wall yeller. So I heard that did alter the game a tiny bit. I don't know if I necessarily believe it. Did it really alter the game all that much? But I don't know. So the people that lucked out with that whole twist was the Brochella people. Being inside, everything's dandy, everything's great. Good for them. Who's the HOH? Babes, who's the HOH in Brochella? Babes?
Is that on the inside of the house?
Yeah. It wasn't Taylor because Taylor just came out from being HOH.
That's the guy.
Monty? Oh, Michael. Michael. Yeah, Michael's the HOH. So he, again, I don't know how Michael is winning all this stuff and not really being like a threat. Like no one's targeting him yet, but then like I talked about it on Twitter a little bit and everyone's like, he totally is a target, Sam. You just don't know. Like, all right, so I'm probably live feeds, but we all know how I feel about those nerdy live feeders. Not all of them, but the ones that argue with people who have actually played the game. They're the ones. So Michael, though, no one's really talking about Michael, and he's winning all these comps and everything. It's amazing. But the Brochella HOH is the one that lucked out. That was good. I would like to see Michael as the winner at the end because I would feel like he deserved it. All the comps that he won and then he still wins at the end would be mind-blowing. Then that people would have to sit there knowing they played the game with this comp beast and there was nothing they could do about it. Well, there was stuff that they just didn't realize it. That's what I should say. They didn't realize that he was going to win the game and then he won the game anyways. He would totally deserve to win. Totally deserve to win. And I don't know. And I think right now AFP is going to go to Taylor, I think. I think I said that on the last podcast too. And like Taylor deserves it. Everyone loves Taylor. So like that's what AFP is. Because I know some people are talking about Taylor being AFP and they're like, no, she didn't do anything in the game. Well, you're missing the whole point what the AFP is for. It's America's favorite. It's not who played the best game or who did the most game moves. It's America's favorite. You could tell one funny joke in the whole season of Big Brother and America could like you and you could win AFP. It is what it is. There's no like deserving to win AFP. Just if people like you, they vote for you. It's great. I think it's great. So if Taylor were to win AFP, I'd actually look like that. If not, then I would want like Kyle to win AFP. I think he's funny. I think Kyle's funny. So, and then did you all see about Kyle telling Terrence like about the whole leftover alliance? I think that was a brilliant move. Brilliant move because now the game was cutthroat since it was so split with the yard and inside the house, Brochella and Direfest, that was Kyle's best move. Out the alliance, put it in. I was a little a little turned off by the fact that then Terrence told Joseph, I believe, about what was going on. Like that was a little bad. But did that help Terrence with his game? Because now, like he said, he's pinning them up against each other. And would that be the best move for his overall game? So I could sort of see, like, there was a lot of things in play this past week that I was just like, ooh, like, why did he do that? Like Melissa was saying, like, that's so bad that Terrence told Joseph. How could he do that to Kyle? Well, it's a game, so I give Terrence credit. And I'm in a Big Brother pool where you can't pick the people that's selected. You just get one handed to you. And I was handed the Terrence name before the game started. Like, they introduced everybody before the game started. And Terrence was my person to win the Big Brother pool. So even if Terrence makes it to final 2, because I highly doubt he's going to win. I mean, it'd be a miracle. But if he at least makes it to final 2 as a floater, that'd be like pretty good. But like Terrence is coming around, like making a couple little moves with like telling Joseph and trying to pin him up and winning the HOH. Like he's coming around. So I like it. I like it. We do know the 2 people that were evicted. I don't want Melissa to hear me, so and so we know they're out, and that's perfect. Like, we all know the one. First of all, you cannot milk a leg injury that long. And you know what's funny? Production must have mentioned that to Jasmine for her to pick up on it and for her to know that. To the point where she also started making excuses. If I have to milk this injury right till the end, that's what I'm gonna do. So like, production definitely let her know that she's abusing it. Like America caught on, house guests caught on. Something was said to her where she knew that she had to put that in as a take on one of her DRs. There's no way she figured that out on her own. No way. And that just gets frustrating. Like, just, especially because like she couldn't maintain that she was in pain, but then she'd fake it, but it wasn't consistent with how she was moving. So like she could do like the wall comp or whatever, jump off the wall, she's fine, but then all of a sudden she's like hobbling around 5 minutes later. How'd you jump off the wall? Like stuff like that. Like like if you're gonna play it up, you gotta play it up. Otherwise, when you can't fulfill the acting, you you look a little foolish. That's what's going on there. So we want to get that out of the way. There was something else here. I talked about this. Isn't it funny that Turner is now getting little clips of making fun of Jasmine? And CBS loves it. America loves it, right? It's all funny. Jasmine says something, he's like, oh, like that was tacky. Oh my word. Was that tacky when she said, like, let's go around the room and name one thing you like about me? What? I could not imagine doing that. All right, guys, let's all go around the room. It's my birthday year. Let's all go around the room and name one thing you like about me. All right, you start. That is the tackiest thing ever. Mind-blowing. And that's why it's so funny that Turner is losing his mind about it. And it's funny that CBS is capitalizing on it. But the one thing I do find funny is the hypocrisy with America, to the point where now imagine if you took Turner and Jasmine and you did Turner and Taylor. Say Taylor was doing everything Jasmine was, and Turner was rolling his eyes, making fun of her and everything. Would you all be fine with that? Or would that have turned into a racist thing? Since you guys always claim that everything's racist. Would that have turned into that? But since it's Jasmine, it's fine. Turner and Jasmine, he could be rolling her eyes at her, thinking she's a joke and all this stuff, and CBS capitalizes on little clips here and there, birthday, this and that. But if that was Taylor, would you all be fine with that? Would you be fine with Turner constantly being annoyed by Taylor if we switched places? No, you wouldn't. So self-reflect on yourself that you're probably a hypocrite, if that would have irritated you. So I found that a little funny. Did you guys know, there's something I wanted to say. Did you guys know, I talked about it in the house, and I love the hairstyle from 2000 on girls that they put their hair in a poof. Melissa does her hair in a poof on date nights. It's just a little thing on the head. Did you guys know that on my eviction day, all the girls did their hair in poofs? It was Christy, Sis, I think, did Holly do it? I think Jess did it. I think Kat did it. No, Kat was on the block with me. Maybe she did do it, I don't know. But a lot of the girls did the poof in honor of me going home. That was fun. I just randomly thought about that the other day. It's funny how like when you're in the house with those people, and like they really do become like family. And I know that word is so thrown around with Big Brother people, but like it really is. Like you really do become like family. Like there's no like sexual attraction to them. There's no like, ooh, call them this, call them that. Like I could go a year without talking to them, but then if we were to bump into each other at like a charity, let's say Give Kids the World, we're immediately pick up where we left off. Oh, what's up? Hey, blah, blah, blah. Like nothing happened. It's like one went out to school and you're visiting and everything's picked up where it left off. That's the one thing about the Big Brother family, we call it, because that's what it's like. I like that feeling. Did you also know, behind the scenes, because I had this written down, you know how you see the names, what is it, Rob Womack or whatever, the executive producers and all that crap at the end? Womack something. He's the guy who does the Big Brother voice. He's the one that goes, next week on Big Brother, blah, blah, blah. Like that's the Womack voice guy. And Rich Meehan, the other one, now Nick pointed this out. I did not notice this in my interviews, but Nick did. Rich Meehan loves wearing different hats. He's a very hat style kind of guy. So sometimes when we're in lockdown and production could come through like the intercom and talk to the house guests like, hey guys, we're gonna be getting ready for the comp in about 5 minutes, so get what you need. We're gonna separate the rooms. One of you go to the storage room, one of you go to the other room, one of you go, like, you know how we do all that stuff, if you know that. And Nick would yell out to Rich Meehan, like we didn't see him, but Nick would yell out and be like, Rich, what kind of hat you have on today? And then one time Rich was like, oh, I have like a little, it was named something, but he had a feather plume in his hat. And Nick's like, you never disappoint, Rich, we love you, man. It was a good time. And then Jordan, the Jordan guy, one producer of Jordan, I forget his last name. I still follow him on Instagram. He don't follow me. He probably didn't like us. He is the one that told us to stop cursing. Because what ended up happening is whenever we were talking game or something, we were cursing so much that they couldn't get good takes from us because of the cursing. So the one time, I'll never forget it, we're all in the backyard and we're all just hanging out, and all of a sudden like the speaker comes on and it's Jordan. He's like, hey guys, you guys are doing really great. We're about 2 weeks into the game. I wanted to go over a couple things with you while you're all here. And we're like, ooh, and I was like, are we in trouble? And he just didn't like say anything, and I was like, oh. So he's like, you guys, he goes, please stop cursing. He goes, you guys are cursing at every given moment, and we can't pick up a good edit when you're talking game because of the cursing. Everything you're saying is beep, 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 beep. Now this is, I think that's a northerner thing. Like we're just big cursors. That's what we did, like in the house. Like everything was F this, F that. Like it was wild. We were, even Nick, like Nick is a huge cursor. Like it's just one of those things we did, and we did it, and Jordan like kind of like had to scold us to stop cursing because it was getting out of hand. And we're like, oh wow, okay, sorry. So that was always funny, because then like we'd start fighting, and remember my key phrase? I would say feeds. Feeds? Yeah. When someone was cursing, we came up with code words to help the person remember not the curse. So someone would be talking game and be like, F this, F that, blah, blah. And we'd be like, feeds. And they'd be like, oh. And they'd be like, all right, well, let's do this and let's do that. We'd redo it just to help out the show. And I did notice that this season, you are not allowed to sleep in the house. You're not allowed to sleep in the house. And they also don't want you talking to the cameras. They make that perfectly clear. But all of a sudden this season, people are sleeping all over the place, and they're also talking to the camera at every give and take. So I wish I talked to the camera more. But like I was trying to do like my job for Big Brother by not talking to the camera, and I'd also try not sleeping either. But that's why whenever they have sunglasses on, it's so you could sleep and production wouldn't yell at you, because the sunglasses would hide it. So that's why like I would pretend to suntan when I would try to take a nap, and I would lay out in the yard. If you would see like me laying there for like an hour, but they would hear you. Like they hear you starting snoring and they wake you right up. So I don't get how like there's clips of people sleeping all over the house. That's not a thing. They don't want you to sleep. So I remember the one time Jess wore her glasses, and she was sitting at the bar that breakfast bar thing in the kitchen, and she was sitting there like this with her hand on her face, like holding her head up. And I remember she was totally like passed out sleeping, but she had sunglasses on, and she's just sitting there like this. And all of a sudden they come out and they're like, Jess, no napping. And she's like, oh my God, I'm not napping, guys. It's just me. I'm just sitting here enjoying my morning. And like, we're all like looking at each other like, you were definitely napping. Like, you don't have to lie about it. They caught you, own it. So since like sat there again, and you could start to hear her start breathing again, that she's sleeping. And they come back on, Jess, no napping. Oh my God, guys, I'm not. So annoying. Oh, she's so annoying. Oh. That's why I found it hilarious on that tweet when Andy tweeted out something about the best places to be in the Big Brother house, or like in jury, or this and that. And Jeff said the best place to be was like, was it halfway through the game when you go to jury? Because you're by yourself in the jury house, peace and quiet. You need it to like detox. And it was like the best thing ever. But in the end of her tweet, she's like, it does suck though, being stuck in the house with someone you don't like. Wow, the irony in that tweet. Like, does she not know? Like, does she not know that like the whole house was super annoyed by her? Because like you meet those people that are one-uppers, that you tell a story and they one-up you. So if you're like, yeah, you know, I was cutting a pear the other day with a knife and I sliced my finger. OMG, that's nothing. I one time cut off my whole finger, then I sew it back on. And you're like, okay. They're called one-uppers. Like, they one-up every story you say. Especially if you tell someone that's nothing to their story. And Jess was notorious for that. You would tell Jess, like, you'd just be talking normal. And I'd be like, I miss the boys so much. You know, we're going on a month now. And she'd be like, that's nothing. One time my daughter was gone for like 5 years. And you're like, okay, random. Like, they're called one-uppers. So like, it was so ironic that Jess was so ready to say in that tweet, it just sucks being stuck in the house with somebody you don't like. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. That led to me being so stressed out in the house, because you had to keep your game rich and like just keep it authentic to, you know, talk to every single person. And it would so exhaust me and drain me mentally that I had to keep a conversation with Jess. Like, wow. I have no hard feelings towards her. I mean, she's the one that blocked me on everything, but I have no hard feelings towards her. It's just like, it's just so funny when someone calls out something like that, but it's so ironic because like, you have no idea. Like, did you really think you didn't annoy anybody? And I know she's talking about Jack, right? Because didn't she go to jury first, then Jack went? Isn't that how it went? So I guess it was that bad. Oh, it was so bad. So wild. But that's why, like, even like when they were saying, and I think Andy even said like, oh, it's so nice to detox in the jury. No, because Andy won. I don't know. Somebody said it's so nice to detox in the jury house after the game, which is funny because I got out right at the halfway point before jury even started. Like, they started jury on my eviction night, and I couldn't detox. I had to go straight home. I was completely fine with it. Like, what detox? What game were you playing that was so wild that you needed to detox from the environment? I came home and like went back to work. Great. I guess it's just because I'm built different. But the irony in that was hilarious. I actually was nice because I actually retweeted that. One of my buddies sent it to me and I retweeted it and I said, to add on, being stuck in the house with someone you don't like also sucks. And like, actually, like, no one even got my sarcasm. I thought I was gonna get roasted. Remember I was talking about it last podcast I was here? So nothing even came from that. So I was ready to read the comments today, but it was a big flop. Who cares? So let me see if there's anything else really quick. Wait, see, I have some notes here and I don't know why I got that. Like, I wrote down, Jasmine hates Big Brother, wishes Big Brother would take care of her. What? Like, why did I write that? She must have said something, or I saw it on the feeds where I was just like, wow. Oh. How many, okay. Oh, the one thing I want to say that, and I wasn't sure if you guys knew that, when you do a comp, no matter how dirty or clean this comp is, you have to be ready, because like, we don't have the yard. The washer and dryer are out in the yard all the time. So you can't do your laundry on every beck and call. When the yard is open, that's time to do all your laundry. And you try to get 16 people trying to do all their laundry in 2 days in the yard, it's a little hectic. You're trying to take turns, and you gotta be on it. Washer, dryer, out, done. I mean, it was only one load, so it's 16 loads a day, I guess. But if you weren't in the yard was closed, and you had a comp, and say 3 days later, Big Brother might need a quick edit of you in the DR as if you just got done the comp. And they'll have you go put on those dirty clothes and go to the DR. So you have to go through your little pile of dirty laundry, and you have to go to the DR in the stinky clothes and be like, so I just was able to stack 3 frogs. Now I know I got to go hard into this veto, blah, blah. And it's like 3 days later. The authenticity is gone. But you still have to wear the stinky stuff. And I know Ovi told me that because remember they had the smelling comp and it was like on their clothes. Cliff, Ovi, who else was there? It was Jess. Cliff, Ovi, Jess, and Cameo, I think. So they had those stinky clothes waiting to wash them. And a couple of days later, all of a sudden Big Brother needed to put those back on to go into the DR. So Ovi had to put his stinky shirt back on because he wasn't able to wash it yet to go back in to do a DR. But either or, that's it. That turned out all right. That wasn't too bad. I know today's Sunday, so I'll be posting this tonight. And I told Melissa, the one thing I like doing is having a drink or two, and I help Melissa clean. So today I'm gonna mop the floor and vacuum, but I'm gonna make myself a little drinky. And I put my AirPods in, I'm left alone, I vacuum, and I actually really, really enjoy it. It's really weird. It's like me time, just zone out everything, just clean the house. So I'll be doing that as soon as I hang up here. But overall, thanks for tuning in. And I guess I'll catch you next time on the Bozo Buzz. That wasn't too bad. Think it was bad? It was all right. Right. I think, see, this is funny because I get so used to doing podcasts like while I'm drinking that I'm already tuned up. I'm ready to flip out and fight and all that stuff. So doing a podcast soberish, completely sober, is harder because you got to keep your mind going. And I struggle with this. I'll be thinking of something and my mind will go blank. And I think it's because it's part of the signs of getting old. Your mind just goes blank. And I panic because I'm on the podcast right now. People are waiting. I can't think of what I was gonna say. And that's why sometimes you ever notice I railroad track and I get off topic and I try to circle back around and bring it back. So rough. But I don't know. It's probably just because I'm not used to being a podcaster. I want to make a TikTok, which I think would be funny. Remember that TikTok? It's like that Windows 95 sound that your Windows crashed on your computer for the older generation. It goes dunk, and it means your thing crashed. So there's a TikTok thing with that sound, and it's dunk, and it's that Windows noise, the little chime. So I want to make a TikTok with that and be when I have to caption it better, but it'd be something when you're on a reality TV show and you have to think of something to, I don't know, stick to after a show. And then when it goes dunk, I want to be podcast, because every Big Brother person has to do a podcast. Every single one. And the only reason why we do that, one person was oh, Sam, you're so trying to stay relevant. It's not staying relevant. It's because so many people ask you to do a podcast. So you do a podcast because you know that they want to listen to what you want to say. So it's not I'm doing a podcast and no one's